Welcome back to the Last 8% project and our mini course. I hope you are taking action. I hope you're walking every morning. Now listen, I've been asked, why do we have people walk? What's the reason? Well, we all know exercise matters, but there's a real particular method to our madness around walking. First of all, we want to get you moving in the morning. There's a big reason. By the way, you can use this at any time of day, but there's a big reason. Number one, we know that mood follows movement. We know that, right? You go move, you will feel different. You will feel better. And there's a couple of reasons why this occurs. Number one, when we go for a walk, and this is what I talk about in the podcast on why movement matters. When we go for a walk, and it only needs to be a 15 to 20 minute walk according to research, we know that we start to turn on different parts of our body and our brain. Specifically, we know that muscles pump out something called myokines. These are a protein from muscle. And they're of a particular size and shape, and they can cross the blood-brain barrier, and they affect our brain in three ways. Number one, they affect the neural pathways, making us more stress resilient. So literally, we are more hardy against stress. We're more resilient. Who doesn't want that today, given all that we're dealing with? Number one. Number two, it turns on a part of our brain that makes us feel more pleasure. We literally enjoy the moment more, which is amazing, right? So we literally, in any one moment after we've moved, we can enjoy that moment more. We're more here. We're more kind of now in the moment. So that's number two. Number three, we actually are more open and we're more trusting of others. So this is a great way that helps us collaborate more with others and helps us be more trusting. And of course, if you've ever worked on a team, you know that when you actually start by giving trust, people reciprocate. We know that from human behavior, from the science of human behavior. So those are three ways, and I talk about that in the podcast while you're walking, while you're moving. The other piece is that, and you'll learn this throughout the whole podcast series, that our brain, its sole purpose is really to protect the body. And so what it does, it gets a little bit of information from our body and it jumps to conclusions. It makes predictions about, friend or foe. Are we okay or are we not okay? Is this a threat or not a threat? And it jumps to conclusions very quickly. And in fact, it takes in this information, which is very ambiguous information. It's very fast information, very ambiguous information. And what it does is that it kind of gives a signal to the brain, hey, we need to do something in the moment. The problem is that our brain can make prediction errors, especially when we're sedentary, especially when we've been sitting all day. That's why, for me, movement is not just in the morning, it's throughout the day. In fact, by the way, one of the great ways that people are using the podcast right now is they're getting up, they're having breakfast, having a shower, getting dressed for work. Then they go for a walk. I'm talking about for people who are working from home during COVID. So they go for a walk and they listen to the podcast for 15 to 20 minutes. They come back, and when they come back to the house, they see it as, okay, now I'm going to work. So they go to their office or their bedroom or wherever they work, and they are working now. And then when they finish the day, they do the exact opposite. They go for a walk. They listen to the same, not the same podcast. Although, by the way, many people listen to a podcast multiple times, which is great because there's hopefully lots of content. But no, they listen to a second podcast of the Last 8% Morning, and they go for a walk 15, 20 minutes. Then they come back and they take off their shoes, and now they're at home. And it creates a bit of a barrier, a separation between personal and work, and then work and personal. So play with it. More than anything else, we want to challenge you to play and experiment and see what works for you, because at the end of the day, only you know yourself, at best. Only you do. So whatever suggestions I come up with, take them as working hunches, as hopefully good suggestions, but suggestions. And that's all. And then experiment and see what works for you. I will see you tomorrow morning. Have a wonderful day. Let's walk.